volare, oh, cantare, oh, nel blu, dipinto di blu, felice di stare lassù. I sound better on this.
It sounded good to me, man.
Holy.
It sounded great. Nobody's done that one. There's about maybe 1,500 versions of that. You know?
There's tons.
But it's a classic, I guess.
Let me try something in a different language.
No, man, that was great. Thank you so much, Sebino.
No problem.
Thank you, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We're gonna just stay low. Yeah, stay closer to the. Just bring it with you. Don't worry about that.
All right.
We're gonna have an interesting conversation today about tiles and tile industry, tile install, and it's we've been having a lot of tile setters on the show lately.
I've noticed.
Yeah, so it just I always like hearing and meeting new tile installers and just try to figure out what they figured out and if they love it as much as they say they love it, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I love it. I've been I grew up in it. My dad did it for 40 years. So I started young.
So he taught you all the right things to do.
Taught me the old school way.
The old school way. Let me do a few shout outs. First of all, Tools in the Trade t-shirt I'm wearing today. So a big shout out to them. They're doing good things with their boot camps. I got, so how do you pronounce the first name? Or is it Sabino's the first name?
Sabino's my middle name.
Your middle name, but you go by Sebino.
Yes.
But the first name is?
Felice.
Felice, okay. Tile Install Plus Inc. You've been doing it for 20 years, 20 years. Email is tileinstallplus@yahoo.com. And on Instagram, it is tile.install.plus.
Correct.
Now, I want to bring up something, and I don't even know because we just met and we briefly have been speaking quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if you're a fan of the four-letter word HDTV or if you're a fan of the approved programs or all kinds of crap like that. But I do want to bring something up that someone sent to me, and I just want to start it right out of the gate. It being Monday, I think I want to pick a fight. So I want to thank Max. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name, and I apologize. Boileau. Boileau. I don't know, at Max Boileau on IG. He shared me, he sent me a little link to something a reno actor was doing, and Brian Baumler. So, first of all, I want to say that Max was sending me a message saying, I've been listening to you since I started my G scene. Huge respect to you, always keeping it real. I've learned a ton, and it's given me confidence in my approach with customers and not to lower my standards, keep my price and know my worth. I'm at episode 171, trying to catch up to listen to all of them. Love TCL. So thank you, Max. Really appreciate that you're listening. You've got a lot of shows to catch up because we just crossed 300.
I saw that yesterday.
It was an amazing show, very emotional show. It was a great show, and Gary and Carrie were getting a lot of positive feedback from a lot of people reaching out to them, so thank you to them. But I want to get back onto this link that he sent to me. So I just, everybody put their seatbelts on because this is going to be interesting. I don't follow a single reno actor. I have no respect for any of the reno actors out there. I've coined the phrase reno actor. They hate that I came up with that word, but it's a clear definition of who they are. They pretend to be us on a TV platform, social media platform, whatever platform.
Yeah, they're not showing everything.
They don't show the truth of it, and that's what pisses me off because they've got the means and the financial backing to actually speak up and defend the industry properly, and they're not doing that. So he sent me this link where, Brian Baumler was, and his wisdom, which I use that word very loosely because he doesn't have any wisdom whatsoever in construction. He was saying this, and these are his words. He did an article, and his words say, a neglected bathroom doesn't do well for the value of your home. A bathroom update is always a good investment, but can cost you around $8,000 to $12,000, depending on the size of the space and the finishes. There are cost-effective solutions when renovating a bathroom, including cleaning up the grout, adding new hardware, and new flooring. Decide what would work best for your space and your budget, and go from there. When's the last time you did a bathroom that cost $8,000 to $12,000?
Like, how do you put that number together, first of all?
So I want to say one big thing, which is something that Carlito has said on previous shows way back, and he said it 1,000 times. There is no set cost in construction, period.
Yeah, exactly.
Every job is new. Every job is different. So for a moron like Brian Baumler to say that it's going to cost $8,000 to $12,000, he shouldn't. He needs to shut up when it comes to that stuff, right?
Yeah,
so
that's sorry, but that's how you That's how you ruin the industry.
You completely ruin the industry for real contractors, right?
Yeah.
Now he goes further. A kitchen rental, 15,000 to 50,000. A bedroom rental, 5,000 to 10,000. So basically, he's saying a bedroom rental is about the same as a bathroom rental. Okay, all right. So living room rental, 5,000 to 12,000. And he's saying by adding new flooring, painting, upgrading lights and finishes. Again, the same price for a bathroom. Okay, landscape upgrade, 10,000 to 20,000 for a walkway and planters and a back deck. Where is he getting these numbers from? Obviously, it's not from on-site experience. No. Basement rental. I love this one. Average size of a basement rental is 1,000 square feet. He's saying that you can get a basement done for 10,000 to 15,000 if you do it yourself. But if you want to hire a professional, it's closer to 20 to 25,000.
So $200 to $250 a square foot, basically.
Which is total bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't appreciate him misunderstanding what we do. And the fact is that Brian Baumler has 6 months of construction experience before he got a TV show. I know this for a fact. He can attack me, I don't give a shit, but he has production construction experience. So he has made up shit experience, right? So for him to be a voice and say that it costs 8,000 to 12,000 to do a bathroom, please shut up. You're not telling the truth.
Yeah, no, that's wrong because I mean, if there's people watching him or watching these shows, and there's, if they hear, oh, this is going to cost you $10,000, and then they call me or you or someone else, and we give them a price of $15,000.
They're shocked.
Yeah, but this guy said 10,000.
I know.
That's how the industry gets destroyed, and it's got to stop.
I challenged Brian to post the last invoice he ever presented or last estimate he ever presented. He doesn't have them. It doesn't exist because I even know that job that he did for 6 months, he only did it to get his TV show. Yeah. And it was actually all just cash-based trades that he was hiring so then he can make money. I know all this shit. Yeah. So I don't care. If he wants to attack me, let him attack me. But he doesn't have the experience to say that a bathroom costs $8,000 to $12,000. I'd rather listen to yourself, Sebino. I'd rather speak to other tile setters because it doesn't cost that. It may start at 15 for a standard 3-piece.
I've done master washrooms like
6 figures.
Like
it depends.
I know it could range. There's such a range.
And then also with the last 3 years, everything is dramatically changed. Cost of material has gone through the roof. Cost of materials that you need to install has gone through the roof. Like everything has gotten so more expensive. And for him to present these numbers, it's a balls out lie. And it hurts us, like you said. It totally hurts us.
It does. Like something as simple as a bag of mortar. It went up like, I think, just your standard bag from Mapei. There's a difference of like $5-6 a bag. That's huge.
So I guess a lot of it, because with Mapei, they package or they make the product here in Canada and then they're shipping it. So I think what they do is they create plants in every major area.
Yeah, they got tons.
To help it, right? Yeah. Otherwise, these bags would actually be double the price or whatever, and you're getting a lot of product coming from overseas. And we know that there's a whole container, China, all this. Yeah. There's like so much stuff. But I mean, to shoot out an article like this in today's climate, not being boots on the ground, not actually being there and talking, right? Like, and listening to what's going on and what things cost.
If you didn't bring that up, I would have known it. Like
I didn't know about it. I don't follow any of those.
Yeah, I don't either.
But people send it out all the time to me because they're like, man, guess who just said what and when and all this other shit. And I read it. I read the whole article and I was like, it was a pure joke. It was an absolute joke.
Where was it?
Connected to HGTV.
Oh, okay.
And that was the other joke of it too, right? So you've got a bunch of people who don't know anything about the construction experience showing that they don't have any experience and then presenting numbers that are not in line with our true experience.
Yeah.
This is what I've always said about this show, whereas like I want this show to be a platform to express real numbers, real tradespeople, real work, real everything. We don't sugarcoat shit. We don't have a reason to. Yeah. And I was having this conversation over the weekend too with somebody else, Matthew, who's going to come on the show, and he's an electrician in Cambridge, and he's getting tired of the misrepresentation. He's like, can you come to my house and just install a pot light for like $20? Like, when did we become like this? It's almost like construction bullshit. Like,
yeah, no, I know. Listen, when these shows started coming out, like I already had maybe 7, 8 years in. Like I graduated.
You had a good experience.
I graduated in 2004. I was 18. I'm 36 now. I was already installing like during high school. None of this stuff, none of these shows were out.
But have you not evolved either? Like
I had to change so much has changed in the industry. These clips and like clips weren't around.
No.
If I showed up to with a bag of clips to my job site with my dad there, like God rest his soul, he's not here no more. But he would he'd throw them in the garbage.
Did he ever use the clips?
Maybe once or twice.
I want to
tried, but like.
Let's go back, Sebino. So your dad was doing it for 40 years. You've been doing it for half that time.
Yeah.
And right out of high school, you start working with him. And
I was going with him like when I was like 12, 13 years old. I was already grouting. Like he would take
hard trade, man.
Yeah,
I'm always saying it's a hard trade.
Yeah, and he always told me, he's like, 25 years. This is a good, if you don't take care of your body, 25 years, right? And he pushed for 40, like.
How did he take care of his body? Because I'm seeing guys in their 20s already complaining about their bodies. What was he doing right, and what are they doing wrong today? You seem like you're okay.
I think physique is a big right. Like I have some cousins and people I know. They're a little bit on the heavier side, and their knees are shot. Their back
shot.
My dad was like I'm like my dad.
Okay.
The same physique. So I don't know if that helps. Lighter, I have no idea.
But you're always on your hands and knees. You're always up and down. You're always carrying 50-pound bags.
I know.
Carrying 50-pound bucket of mix, carrying 2 foot by 4 foot tiles.
But back then, like when we first started, it wasn't like this.
No, you were doing 12-inch square,
18
whatever.
18 by 18 granite. Like smaller tile.
But the mud still still weigh the same.
Yeah, the bags are still 50 pounds. Yeah. The bags were still.
Have you noticed that Mapei's changed? Like their bags are not 50 now; they're 43.
They feel lighter. They feel a little. They do.
So on a pallet, you have fewer. It's lighter, but you have the same amount of bags.
There's like 52 or 54 bags.
I know, but they're pulling off that. That's a cereal trick. Like you don't have as much volume in the box anymore, but you're still selling it for the same price.
Yeah.
The price is still higher.
No, the price is
43
higher.
pounds.
Yeah.
It's less material for this more
texture's
money.
different.
Is it different?
I feel like it's different.
Did your dad start with Mapei?
Yeah, we always used Mapei.
Always, it never veered off to anybody else?
We've
tried.
We've tried, and I still use different products. I don't just stick to one. Like I feel like different materials work good with, like different tiles work better with different materials. I don't just stick to one, right? The textures are different. Laticrete's way different than Mapei. Mapei is different than custom. There's so many products out now. But back then there was only one like that we used.
Pretty much,
right?
Yeah.
So it definitely changed.
So when so 40 years ago, you're talking about the early 80s, your dad was tiling.
Well, he was tiling in Italy first, right?
And then immigrant here, right?
Yeah.
And then he gets here and nobody taught him. He was taught there.
He was taught there, yeah. He was tiling at 14.
Wow.
Yeah, take the bus, go to the nearest town, work, come back.
Wow.
And
it wasn't easy tiling either.
No,
it was
back
intricate.
then it was different.
It was intricate tiling.
In Italy, they used a different system. I think now it's changed. They're more modern like us. Back then it was like strictly dry pack.
Yeah.
Fresh, right?
Yeah.
Dry pack, lay. It was all marble.
Yeah.
Right? Here, our system's a little different.
Well, because there you built up a base.
Yeah.
Here we don't have the space for a base. People don't want that extra because it starts to affect the whole floor.
Exactly.
Right.
And there they build with concrete, right?
Yeah, that's a different thing too as well. So there's so many advantages there building it that way versus the way it's built here. But we're in a climate that's all timber framing, so we have to go with what is already.
And it works. Like we've done houses when I first started with him, and I mean those tiles are still on.
Yeah, they're still there.
They're still there. They ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? So the products worked, the techniques worked, the methods worked, but they changed a lot in the industry.
Who did he work with when he got started, or was he by himself?
No, he always worked for he worked for this company. I don't know if they're still around. I have no idea. It was called Blue Jays Contracting or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I remember. And then he was there for a little while. And then he, when I started with him, he was with this other company, Sicilian guy, and he never left them until
Then you came into the
I
picture.
came in. Once I turned 18, I graduated. I opened my own company, and it was me and my dad, and we always had some guys, subs, and that was it.
What was it like? So, 19 years ago, what was going on tile-wise? What were clients asking for 19 years ago?
It was simple.
Like what way?
I feel like they weren't as picky. Now you got the metal edges involved and mitering and the porcelain, and you can't. I don't care who you are. You're not mitering a piece of porcelain like you are a piece of marble.
No, it's two different materials.
Yeah, one's natural, one's man-made. So they're cutting different.
Yes. Are you a fan of the porcelains?
Listen, they've come a long way.
Yeah, they were a nightmare when they first launched.
Yeah, they look identical to stone. So they're not... I still think that marble is harder to install.
Natural. Any natural stone.
Yeah.
I still prefer
I would too.
natural stones.
I'd take natural over porcelain any day.
I've seen tests, I've seen stones, I've seen samples, I've touched.
Oh, yeah.
And I always veer right back to a natural stone.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care about, because this is what sales reps or designers, their first argument is that you have to maintain it, you have to seal it, you have to protect it.
Yeah, but
all of Italy's that way.
Yeah, like my house there in Italy is the
same thing.
It's all marble.
I call it patina that's character. It's just like that's what tile's supposed to. It's not dirty.
No,
but we live in a country where, in North America, basically U.S. and Canada, like everybody wants it to look pristine, clean.
Yeah,
always.
I know, but you got to maintain it.
But there's other faults when it comes to porcelain. Failures, I say. If you drop something on it,
it'll chip. It'll
you can't.
And
it's hard to repair.
You can't go back and repair it like you can stone, right?
Well, I got a lot of questions because I've got the Dr. Granite coming into the show in a couple of weeks or so, and I'm gonna have a lot of questions. But I'm sure that he's figured out some tricks.
There are,
right?
There are. I mean, is it easy? No, it's not. I've tried. I've gotten it to a point where it's passable.
Yeah.
But with marble, you have a lot more leeway. You do.
I agree.
You got the different pads and colors, and you could blend them. So, and that's not even my line of work. Like I don't do countertops, but I have a knowledge in it.
Did you hear? Someone told me, not on mic, at a meeting, Caesarstone is planning on cutting down their slabs into tiles and having them install, and they want to install them right to substrate. And I'm like,
really?
Excuse me?
I never heard that.
So they're trying to launch that in the market. I think that's a failure.
I never heard that. When did they say this?
They were messing around with that at one of the trade shows recently. I think it was at Circe in Italy, that tile show. They started hinting at, we're going to probably start chopping up our slabs into 2 foot by 2 foot tiles and start selling them as a 2cm tile.
Really?
Which is the same as the quartz of everything else you can use. But I mean, that product is not the best product, and you still need a proper sub-base.
Yeah, of course.
And if anything, that would need the old school Italian dry pack, do it that way. But then we go back to the North American way. We don't want to deal with the height.
The height is a big problem.
Yeah.
The height's a big problem. Like I've done big homes where we're talking like 15, 20, 25,000 square foot homes. Jesus. And like the whole main floor is slab. So it's different because you don't have to worry about elevations. You don't have to worry about the family room is hardwood and it's got to meet the marble that's already sitting on a dry pack of 1 inch, right?
Natural slabs or
yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, 2x4.
The best part of that is like you lay one down and you already lay down, what is it, like
8 square feet? That's great.
Like you lay down so, but the prep to get it perfect. It's not a matter of you trying to rock it. It has to land perfectly.
Yeah. You gotta. It's. I mean, listen. It's. And sometimes I go back and I'm like, the way we worked before it was the right way. Like now you're.
What do you mean?
Like not that we don't work proper now. It's just there's so much more involved. Like even showing up to, I mean, most of my clients don't care because they know what they're getting, right? But these clips, I was so.
You're against them?
I was against them for a very long time.
But you like them?
Depending on what you're using them for. You will never find me using them on like a small tile or a subway tile. Like never.
Not even the hexagon and clip them all together?
Never. No.
Okay, still by touch.
I'm not using like a big tile. If it's on a bad subfloor and there's no room for a dry pack, right? And you got to do a scratch coat or a membrane. I'll use it there, just so it kind of it flows better, right?
Yeah.
You're not lifting so much. But even that, when these things came out, I found like there was so many more guys waking up in the morning. I'm gonna be a tile setter.
Yeah, but they should have been waking up saying, I'm going to be a good tile setter.
Well, that wasn't happening because it went. I was for about a good year in like 2017. You know how many houses I had to repair?
Really?
Oh yeah,
because they were relying exclusively on the clips.
They would exactly.
They didn't care about their mortar, the consistency, the troweling of it. They didn't care about any of that shit.
No.
They just were relying on the clips.
Yeah, the clip and go.
But then it's just void. All
it's
this.
All voids.
Yeah.
It's hollow.
Jeez.
Like a lot. I just did another one last week.
Were they popping off or were they just
cracking
because someone hits it or drops something and then there's no material? There's no 80%, 90% coverage.
It's empty. It's bad.
Wow.
So I feel like now it's kind of, I mean, I'm sure you could talk to all the, like, if you find some big tile setters on social media, they'll say the same thing.
Yeah.
Like there was a period where if you put an ad on Kijiji or an ad out looking for tile setters, your phone would be flooding with guys. Now,
but for bad jobs.
But in general, I'm saying just tile setters in general, more guys flooding the industry. Now you can't even find a tile setter.
Really? Huh?
Oh yeah.
So they all left.
I guess I guess, or they tried ruining another trade. I don't know. Oh yeah.
So what is the stigma associated with tile setters today in Canada?
Like, what do you mean by that? Like
when someone thinks of a tile setter, what are they thinking? Like they think that anybody can do this job now, or is it?
No, I think it got to a point now where it
bounced back to where it was.
Yes, I think so. It's a skilled trade. Like you can't just wake up one morning and start tile setting. Like there's so much to it, right? I can't go wake up tomorrow and become a carpenter.
No.
Even though I know the measuring tape.
Yeah.
There's still like
I love that.
like, you know.
But there's a lot of guys who actually have a measuring tape and they think that they're a carpenter.
But
I know.
I mean it's the truth though. I can't. There's tricks, there's techniques. You could frame a house.
Your dad was an artisan and you are an artisan because of the experience and what you've done and how you've tackled it and how you problem solve. That makes you more than a tile installer, right?
I mean, I would think so. I think it has a lot to do with art.
Yeah.
It's a craft. It's, and not everyone could do it. You need patience.
Yes.
A lot. So
why is everybody so rushed to install tile? Is it because they give them a rate and then when they get started, they realize, I'm not going to make money.
Yeah.
So I got to hurry.
I mean, honestly, like going back to even how, what's that guy's name there?
Baumler?
Baumler, yeah, the chief there. He said a bathroom's $8,000. I haven't done a bathroom under $3,000 just for tile in like the last 2 years.
That was just for tile.
Just
one
for
line
install.
Item.
Just for
not even factoring the fixtures.
Not
so just talking about tub, vanity, sink, faucet for the tub.
Not even purchasing the tile.
Yes.
That's like it. So
where does that number come from?
It doesn't make any sense.
It's made up. I know. I get it. That's why I had to speak up. But I mean, the clients will always spend so much money on the tile material, but then dig at you to install it.
Yeah, like I've had there's some suppliers I stopped working with completely because they'll just sell anything, right?
That's a shame.
$2 a square foot, $3 a square foot,
That's a
you know,
shame.
and then the quality is not the greatest, and then I have to go and explain to the customer, which I don't like to, because I don't like crossing that path where, you know, you're putting someone down, right? But if I'm going to install a tile that is horrible to work with, how do you expect me to install it for the same price you sold it for? Why are you referring me? I don't even want to do the job.
Have you ever been asked to investigate a situation? Not your work, someone else's work?
Yeah,
I've been asked several times, and I've gone there.
Yeah.
And because I guess whenever a tile install happens and something negative happens, whether it's a failure of some sort, I guess you got to get a third-party installer. You've got to get another person to assess the tile itself. You got to get another person to install to assess the mortar that was used, and you got to get different opinions, right?
Yeah, they just want to see your point of view. They want to know if the prep was done properly and things like. Yeah, I've been.
But it's funny how it's like, I mean, I don't know about your experience, but my experience is that it's always pointed to the actual tile as the failing component of the process.
No, so like if you go back to even if you talk about let's talk about bathrooms, your showers,
yes.
right? With all these membranes and waterproofing, and like we've done back then, none of this stuff existed either, right? No. It was just dry pack on liner.
What was your dad doing? Your dad was doing cement board, or was he doing green board?
Well, typically we wouldn't do it back then. It was already done, but like back in the 90s, it was just drywall in these houses.
That's how it was.
That's how it was with wall glue.
Yes.
You know, which you can't do that today because.
But it was smaller tiles, and you didn't have to worry about massive tiles on the ceiling or massive tiles on the walls.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to deal with shear. You didn't have to deal with any of that. Today you have to deal with
it. Yeah. So we use cement board now.
Yes.
Right. Typically, that's what we like to use, right? And then I coat everything, but like. We had a lot of I've gone to a lot of jobs where the bathrooms were done 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
Right. I never touched them. Now I'm going in to redo them, and there was moisture or there was always a leak, but like it didn't have anything to do with the actual tile, and for some reason like customers always think the tile wasn't installed properly. It's not. It could be an internal problem.
Yep.
And that's typically what that's usually the problem. A cartridge on the plumbing goes.
Could be something.
Yeah. It's not necessarily mean the tile.
But that's the first thought, though, when a homeowner starts to see some mortar, like mold forming, silicone.
I think that has to do with how they're being educated on TV.
Oh, that's another thing, right?
I think that's the problem.
But there's so many factors, and you can't just point the finger at the installer, say that he messed up or she messed up.
It could be anything.
It could be anything.
It could be anything. But typically the first root cause from my experience is it's two things. Either silicone wasn't done properly or it's an internal issue.
That's always a factor.
Water leaking from behind,
You can do so many tests on plumbing, and depending on how many heads you have and how many elbows you have, how many fixtures you have, all that stuff. Every single one is a possibility that it could fail, and they do fail over time.
Yeah, of course. And it's not the plumber's fault.
No,
it's just
the product.
It's just the product.
But I mean, like 5 years though to go back, and the reason I was saying it was tiles. Every time I'm called in and I looked at it and I have to assess, I'm looking at tile that's most of the time ceramic. And discoloring when it gets wet. So when I look at that, I think fabrication, manufacturing.
I think it's porous.
Yeah, the way it was, maybe it wasn't dried properly. I don't know. There's a bunch of things, but I don't think it's an actual install problem. I think it's an actual manufacturing problem. There's something wrong with that tile. It could be the glaze, could be anything.
It could be.
Yeah.
And someone in the business that 5-6 years in, not familiar with a certain product, they wouldn't know.
No.
Right?
But you're the last person in there working on their house.
So they're going to...
So by proxy, it's your fault.
It's our fault.
Which is not the case.
No.
right? They should be factoring everybody. Where you bought the tile, who installed the tile,
Exactly.
plumbers, who framed, all that shit.
Everything.
You should
Start to
you should be
finish.
having a conversation about the entire process to figure out why this is going on.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree. Yeah.
Let me do a little history here in construction. This is going to be interesting. Pros and cons of tile types. You got a particular favorite of yours?
Of a tile type?
Yeah, style or tile material.
Size, I like the 2x4s, 24x48.
What kind of material you like? Natural?
I prefer natural, yeah, but I've installed a lot of the porcelain that size.
It's everywhere in the market. So
Yeah.
I just want to share ceramic tile. It's durable, resistant to cracks and abrasions, absorbs water, weak to high heat and low cold. Porcelain tile, durable, non-porous, resistant to scratches and abrasions, frost and heat resistant.
Frost and heat resistant?
Yeah, it depends on how. Well, I guess extremes, no.
No.
Porcelain fails. But I guess typical home heat and frost,
Yeah, it's fine.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Cement tile, high variety, will discolor, but can be sanded and resealed. Difficult to lay, requires resealing. Marble tile, beautiful and difficult to replicate. Pricey, requires upkeep. Can scratch, can stain, difficult to clean or keep clean. Recommended for low traffic areas and accents. I'm sorry, but I still love marble tile, man.
Yeah, it's
Granite tile, highly varied, durable, scratch and acid resistant. And granite material is so tough.
it is.
So tough, and that's why I'm a fan of it as well too. Limestone tile, easily shaped and cut. I call limestone tile peanut brittle.
Do you know how we install that a lot?
Now, are you with limestone? And I had to do this because the client ended up getting a skid from a very non-reputable location, and I called it peanut brittle because you grab
Yeah,
you tap it from underneath like you're hitting a baby's bottom or something like that.
It's very soft.
and it cracks.
Yeah.
It just breaks apart.
But once it's installed,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Beautiful. I love it. So easily shaped and cut, very porous, specific sealants, recommended for outdoor use. All of Italy is all tracked limestone. And then travertine tile was the other one, right? So same thing, water resistant, easy to repair, prone to scratching. Quarry tile, so dense, non-porous, sealing, not necessarily slip resistant, can stain, recommended for high traffic areas. Metal tile, I am not a fan of metal tile. I hate metal tile.
I honestly, they look nice, especially if they're mixed with a mosaic. But like
they look like crap, and if you don't cut it properly,
well, there's no like. I mean, there
isn't a blade.
There is no blade to cut the same tile that has two different materials in it.
it scratches
Yeah, it
the
does.
grain of the metal. It's very durable on its face value, sure. Recommended for work surfaces like kitchen, bars, and utilities. Yes and no. I'm not a fan. I'd have to see a really nice metal tile for me to be convinced on it, right? And then resin tile. So it's basically just water resistant, can imitate water, stone, looks likely to chip, discolor, sun damage because the resin is UV sensitive. Recommended for wet areas like bathrooms and mud rooms. I'm not a fan of it because resin tile is mostly glue, flammable,
Yep.
discoloring. What do you want to try to do in all your bathrooms and kitchen areas? Bring as much sunlight into the house as possible.
Yeah, but that's not really not being used.
No,
like,
no, it's far and few, right?
Yeah.
Sabino, so where do we, I want to, what are you a fan of regarding, do you use an uncoupling membrane for all your tiling, or are you doing dry pack mostly, or you prefer?
It depends the situation. We still do dry pack. Some homes we still use a scratch coat because there's not enough room.
Yeah.
Right. I'll use if the customer wants a heated floor, we'll use the membranes. Right.
Yeah.
So from project to project it varies. What I like the best is obviously dry pack.
Yeah.
Right. You're leveling the floor. If I'm doing a dry pack floor, I'm not even using a clip. Like, that's how confident I am in my work.
Because you've leveled it.
Yeah, there's no need for it.
How thick are you normally going? What's the minimum thickness that you go?
You gotta go minimum ½ inch.
Okay.
Right? Take your ½ inch and but every floor is different again, right? You might have a higher point, so you gotta raise that to maybe 3/4.
Older homes from the front to the back, depending on how much tile you're gonna put.
But typically ½ inch would be like the minimum if you could get away with that.
Are you guys doing your own dry pack mix, or are you picking bags that are
we
ready?
mix it old school shovel.
Really?
Oh,
Huh?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not a lot of guys are doing that, man.
No.
And then you're doing the same thing in the shower bases as well. So,
Yeah.
But you're doing rubber membrane, or you're doing a different kind of drain?
So we've been using some companies, GCs. They like to still use the liner.
Yeah.
Right.
Really? Huh?
Yeah. I know, and I'm not really a
corners.
I'm not really a fan of it.
Liners should disappear.
Yes, and there's some, like recently we stopped using it in some homes, and we just do strictly waterproofing.
Yeah.
Liquid membrane, and works amazing. You don't have to deal with those corners and folding and.
But liners are basically designed to let water pool to stay in the pan.
And it causes a disaster.
It could if it's not installed completely properly.
I know.
Because if you put the nail in too close to a wet area,
it's going to find its way.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's going to find its way.
Clients have a hard time understanding that some tiles are non-porous, but the grout is not 100% non-porous. Water could still get behind it.
It can.
Right.
There's new grout products out as well.
Yeah.
So that helps. But it honestly, it's educating the customers. I had a customer call me 3 weeks ago. And I mean, this guy probably thought I was like not doing anything. He's like, "Can you come tile the shower tomorrow?" Like, I go,
I love those ones.
"Oh, yeah. They happen all the time. I can't come tomorrow. I could come like end of next week. I could squeeze you in."
He's got all the tile already, right? It's already on site.
He's ready to go. He's pricing now, right? They're pricing. But
should have been doing that months ago.
Yeah. So I go, I can't come this week. I could come next week, if it's an emergency. Okay, but what are you going to do? What kind of prepping are you going to do? So I explained to him. He goes, is it a basement or upstairs? He goes, it's a basement shower. He goes, my plumber's going to install the liner. I go, no, forget about the liner. Don't put the liner. He goes, what are you talking about? I'm like, you don't need the liner. We're going to do a liquid membrane, waterproofing. I go, once that thing dries.
What are you using, Aqua Defense?
There's Aqua Defense, and then there's Red Guard.
Red Guard, yeah. A lot of guys are using Red Guard.
I love Red Guard.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Never an issue.
What about the corners? Is it like you just
paint it on?
Cake it?
Yeah, like if there's like even on if there's a corner of a wall, piece of dry like a cement board, and there's a hole, I'll mud it, with the mortar, let it dry, and then
Red Guard.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not.
So you pre-fill.
Yeah, there's nothing's getting through that.
Okay.
And this guy thought I was like.
So why was he so set on the liner?
Because that's all they know.
That's from the 80s.
Yeah, that's all they know. That's all they know. That's how far behind some unfortunately, they don't know better.
I never have. I've never want to. I've seen it done because I was curious. Mm-hmm. I look at it and I'm like, that's going to fail.
Yeah. Eventually it will.
Eventually it will fail.
Yeah, it will. It'll get by,
yes.
But eventually
that's why I didn't like it. I was like, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
But I guess a lot of guys do it.
All these residential homes.
I guess the good guys know how to wrap their Christmas presents, eh? Because the corners are the hardest part, man.
I know it is.
It's just like you get talk about buildup, man. You get like 3 sections overlapping each other in all 4 corners.
Yeah,
then it makes your life harder to install tile.
I'm very surprised how much like construction has evolved in general from trade to trade, and that is still a thing.
I know.
With all these products that have been out, people are scared there's going to be a leak.
I don't think it's I think it's the trade. I think the trade is afraid to try something new.
That could be the problem.
They're stuck in their ways. They're like, we've done liners since day one. We've never had a callback. We've never had anybody say it failed.
So let's keep using it.
Yeah, but not that you know of. But I guess the younger generation will look at it and go, wait a minute, that's going to fail, right?
Yeah. If you do one today, in 5 years from now, there's moisture in that shower, guaranteed.
Because it pools. This is what I have a problem with. It pools in the dry pack underneath. So if it gets past your tile and your grout and it gets into the dry pack, it pools. So then if you're constantly showering, it's going to fail because it pools water in there. Water right next to wood is a problem. Mm-hmm. Gets past the rubber.
I just had that situation last month. A buddy of mine. I did some work I did his shower in the basement, no liner. And then I think this house was only like 7 or 8 years old, and he was going through the same problem upstairs. So he made me he wanted all the grout cleaned up, It looked old.
Yeah.
Right. But I go, I'm doing it. I'm like, this doesn't look good. Something's going on here.
There's more water than just...
No, it looked dark. I go, this can't be just dirt. It looked like mold, right?
Yeah.
So I cleaned it up. I regrouted it. 2 weeks later, he called me. It's back.
So water's coming from behind.
I go, that's impossible.
Yeah.
I go, you were there when I was grouting it. And he goes, I know. What could it be? I go, there's water in the liner.
Yeah.
It's coming up.
Yep.
And
eventually you ripped it all apart?
I didn't even, I don't know. He hasn't, he said he was going to take it apart himself.
Yeah, you'd have to take it apart to find. I guarantee you take it apart, all that dry pack's going to be saturated.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And there's actually going to be water
and I told him that.
Sitting there. I know.
I told him, just cut a hole in the bedroom. And if you want to do it yourself, you do it yourself. Like, take a look. And he goes, okay.
That was in the basement?
No, that was in the master. So
then he could actually cut open the drywall from underneath to take a peek.
Yeah.
I bet you that ply was probably turning black already.
100%. So there's a lot of problems like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
You getting a lot of people asking you to do full slabs in bathrooms, in showers?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's what's in. Big tile.
It's more responsibility. Like, you got to get a whole new set of tools. You got to get more space on the job site. You got to handle material a lot more carefully. There's a lot of,
delivery truck and 2 guys to unload.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous. If the slab breaks, that's like what, $600-800 a piece.
It's basically glass. It's not tempered glass. It's shards of glass.
So I've done quite a few of them. There are some guys out there that are really good with it. Like, I'm not going to say I'm, I install slab every day. Can I? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's not easy. It's not easy.
Going to the mitering, have you been one of those guys that bought the mitering grinder?
I do everything by hand.
I know, but I saw somebody or a couple of manufacturers were selling a kit or a product, a tool.
Yeah, it's like some bar with a...
It's set your grinder.
That's for the slab, though. They've been using that for the slab.
For the 6 mil porcelain slabs?
For that thin stuff.
Have you tried it? I've never tried it.
That specific grinder?
Yeah, I've never tried it. It's just by hand, right?
I do it by hand. I just finished a bathroom, a sauna, and mitering around the doors. I did everything by hand.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah.
All slabs?
It was
or large tile.
36 by 36.
That's still big, man.
Yeah, it's a thick tile. It's heavy.
And you're not using the clips for the verticals for the walls?
Walls I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just, I mean, like for walls, it helps because now when you're setting one row and you're going on to the next, you're not moving that one, right? So,
what's the clip of choice that you like?
Sorry?
What's the clip of choice that you like?
Honestly, I don't even look at the brands anymore.
You just clips.
If I see them and I need some, but there's all kinds. There's Perfect Level. There's the Paygram was one of the first ones with Perfect Level, but now everyone's copied them.
Everybody's just copy everybody.
There's green clips out there. There's orange clips, red clips. If you see some of my pictures on Instagram, I mixed them.
You're all over the place.
I mixed them.
So technically speaking, it's like you're voiding the warranty. I don't even know if there's a warranty, but no, it's just like, just use them, man. What mortar are you going to? What particular mortar do you like?
I still prefer Mapei.
But which one?
There's
you using LFTs?
LFT's good. Yeah,
okay.
If I'm using a big tile, I'll use LFT.
LS or anything?
No, the Ultraflex 2.
Ultraflex 2? I've always do they still make Ultraflex 1?
They do, but a lot of guys are not carrying it.
There's hardly any glue in 1.
1 is very, very...
A little bit more glue in 2.
2 has...
Lots of glue in 3.
Yeah.
Just give me 2. Give me 3. I don't care about 1.
Yeah, they should... Not too many guys are selling it.
I got a funny... I was invited to Mapei, the warehouse. This is a funny story. I don't think I shared anybody on the... So this is years ago, maybe 10 years ago. And they were just launching large format mix because everybody started getting on the train about large tiles, right? So the science guy there, right? He was literally in a lab coat, right? Which this was entertaining, right? So we're in there where it's like class, and all of a sudden he's talking about how good this mix is, brand new mix designed specifically for these large formats, will not create any kind of sag. It will not slope. It will not move. Once you install it, it stays put, right?
Yeah, it doesn't move.
So he's just building this up. I'm like, okay, I'm excited because I want a mix that's gonna take the weight and you don't have to worry about it sagging, right? So he does the thing. He does everything proper. Walks away from me, he goes, that's how it works. And as he's standing there, I'm just watching I just start to sag. And I'm like,
it's falling.
I don't like that product. I'm not using that anymore. I'm not going to try it. And he was like,
God.
that shouldn't be doing that. And I'm like, well, it is right in front of us right now.
Go back to science.
Go back to science and figure it out. And then the reps were like, shut up, man. He just shut up. And I was like, what? He said it's going to do what it's going to do. And
The
it didn't do
ultralight
it.
is good.
Ultralight's really good
The
stuff.
ultralight's good.
Yeah. Science guys need to get on knee pads and get on the floor and start installing.
I know. That they should.
It comes from Italy, I guess, because in Italy, Mapei is used everywhere, man. Concrete and tile and all kinds of stuff. It's a huge corporation.
Mapei is huge in Italy, in Europe. But a thing is good. What's it called? Custom products is good.
You like
too.
customs, bro? Really?
You know what? It's not. I haven't had an issue with it, eh?
Really?
Yeah.
Not a lot of people jump
the
to
LFT.
it. Is it good?
It's.
But it's expensive. More expensive than.
It's almost the same price.
Is it really?
For what I get it for, yeah. It's
Customs American, right?
I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're European.
Well, Redguard is from Custom.
That's their product?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've always been a Schluter guy since day one.
Schluter?
I've always been Schluter.
Yeah.
Membrane on top of cement board in the early days, and then Curdy board. I know. I can also see your dad not being a fan of foam. I don't get this, man. This foam doesn't make any sense to me.
No, he would never. No,
You would never touch it.
No,
I've met so many old school guys
No way.
in like you're at fabric shops and all of a sudden you're like talking tile and slabs and all kinds of shit, and you see an old school guy, and then you're like, hey, I want to talk to him because I like talking to old school guys. They'll teach me something, and he just like shut it all down. He was just like, that's a piece of shit. That is a piece of shit. He just couldn't, like, it was just dry pack. That's all he was talking about.
It's because it works.
It never fails.
It never failed.
It'll never fail.
It never failed. Like, I'll be honest, I probably used that foam for the shower floor maybe a handful of times.
I've used it,
and I've done a lot of bathrooms.
But the problem is that it starts to get bigger, but then they started adding more sizing, and then you start doing math, and you're trying to figure out.
It's
just dry pack the shower at that point.
I'd finish the whole shower before I put that thing in.
I know, eh?
It's
no, so what's wrong with the tile guys and girls today? They're just in a hurry to get shit done and get out.
Well,
lippage is a huge thing for me, man.
Well, that's why they everyone's using the clips. They think that that's gonna save them.
Would you put training wheels on your motorcycle?
Me?
I wouldn't.
No.
You don't need them.
You don't need them.
Right? You ride.
You ride and go.
That's it.
But that's the problem, though. There's still people, there's still men and women, let's say, in the trade that have relied on that product so much. You take away that product from them, they're clueless.
I agree. Let me ask you, your arsenal of tools, man. What are you dealing with? Wet saw? You scoring? What brands are you using?
Sigma.
I
like Sigma. I have one Montelite cutter, the big one.
Yeah.
They're good.
When you say big one, like a 4-footer?
Yeah. No, the 6. I got the.
You got the bench saw.
Yeah, I got the big one.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then my wet saw, I got a couple DeWalt, for smaller stuff, and is it Montelite? Is it the Montelite saw? Yeah, it fits like 72.
They have a wet saw?
Is it Montelite or?
I don't know if they have a wet saw.
It's a German.
Husqvarna?
I got it from Tool Academy.
Okay.
It's right in their showroom. It's a big one.
I've been wanting to get the boys at Tool Academy on the show. I think they're just nervous.
Why?
Everyone's nervous.
Wait till they see me on it.
They're solid guys there, and they always have the right tools, and they always give you the right advice, and they don't try to upsell shit, right?
I remember going there when I was a kid, man. They used to call my dad Artista.
Artista?
Yeah. Yeah. Now they call me Artista.
It's been passed down.
Yeah. But they're good guys.
You got to be using Makita grinders.
Oh, yeah.
Is there another grinder to be using for tile install?
I love Makita.
I don't care if you're a D-Wall guy or a Bosch guy or anybody else guy or whatever. If you're a tile installer, you're using Makita. That's it.
Makita's good.
Even I got a Makita grinder variable.
I just bought another one the other day.
They're not cheap.
No,
they're good.
Their simple one is like $90, $100.
Oh, variable.
The little one, the light one, the variable I have. Yeah, that thing's what, close to 300 now?
Yeah, it's nice. Does it come in? It does come in cordless.
I have the corded one.
I have the corded one as well too.
I don't know if it does,
but I don't have any Makita batteries.
No, I have everything corded still.
Yeah,
I use corded.
Really?
Yeah.
You're there. You're set up. You have power.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, there's no power. No one's working anyways. Like, what do
you got? No lights.
No lights. What, I gotta equip my whole job site with?
No, you can't. You can't be battery lighting everything.
No.
Plus, if you start adding the batteries, they become heavier. The grinders
heavier.
And when you're trying to do a miter, you don't want that.
No, and batteries aren't cheap.
No, and batteries can get stolen.
Yes.
On job sites by other thieving tradespeople.
Yeah, I've had that done to me before.
It happens to everybody, man.
Yeah,
I just hate that it's another tradesperson doing it.
Yeah,
I can't stand that. It's not some joker off the side.
I've had wet saws stolen.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's ballsy.
Yeah, wet saw.
In the middle of the night or during like
over a weekend?
Oh shit!
And it was a good one. Target, the Target ones. You remember those?
The original ones.
The original ones.
The original ones. Yeah, that sucks, man.
Yeah.
What are some of the jobs that you've done that you're like you look back and you go, damn, that was fucking good?
I did my very first time doing a pool. It was an Olympic size swimming pool. Was I just married? Yeah, I was like 25. Never did a pool in my life.
What tile were you using?
All mosaic.
5/8?
They were on sheets.
Yeah.
12 by 24 sheets.
What color?
It was like the blue and white mixed. Yeah.
Whole thing or just
the whole pool? It was like 90 feet long by 50 feet wide. The whole deck.
By yourself? No.
I had 10 guys. It was out in Windsor. Yeah.
That's big, man.
It was huge. We were there it was like a 2-month project.
How do you grout that?
All epoxy.
Oh.
It was a nightmare. It took us longer to grout than to install.
Yeah. It had to be epoxy.
Yeah. Oh, all those pools are epoxy.
Look beautiful? It must have looked beautiful.
Yeah. I'll send you some pictures.
I want to see it.
I'll send you some pictures.
And it still probably looks that way too.
Yeah.
I would choose that over a liner in a heartbeat.
100%. It's gorgeous.
Especially if you do it properly, you install it properly.
I just did one. I did another one during right before COVID started, like going into that 2020 up in Aurelia. Did a big tank pool. It was like 15 feet deep. Yeah.
What kind of tile was that?
All mosaic.
All mosaic.
All mosaic with the racing stripe, with the lanes, and yeah.
How many sheets are we talking about here?
A lot.
Shit.
Skids, container full.
Do you have like this look at the feet when you put the first one on, thinking about getting to the last one?
No, man.
You're hungry to get to the last one?
I want to see this wall done today. Let's go.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah, but you gotta have the right guys that, and that was one thing. The last few years, going through with COVID and even before with couple deaths in the family. It's just
life, man.
It was just it beat me up.
Yeah.
And if you have I'm getting back to where I was. Let's say that, and I'm gonna cause a nice.
So you took it a little bit easier.
Well, it was like one thing after another, right?
It's usually what happens.
It was one thing after another, and then getting over, my dad and my cousin, my dad, and then COVID.
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to keep 8-9 guys busy now with half these jobs that got delayed and canceled? It was a mess.
No.
So everyone,
shuffle.
Yeah, it wasn't good, and everyone. It happened to a lot of people.
Yeah.
It happened to a lot, not just me, but. It's
So you just this year started coming out of it?
Well, I had the social media and then I got rid of it. I just had enough with everything. I couldn't focus and I didn't want to be distracted anymore. I just needed to figure out my own stuff.
Yeah.
And focused more on the family and the kids and all that. And then I mean, not until like 2 months ago. I'm like, let me get this back. I was always working, you know. I was still working, but I was on my own. Like I was.
Oh, you weren't doing the bigger crews, the bigger jobs.
No, man. I just hadn't. It was, you know, like it was just more of a mental thing.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm back at it now. I think I needed that time to like just regroup and figure out what I want.
That's all you got to do.
That's it.
You have no interest in getting out of this trade.
No,
you just want to keep on improving this trade.
I got lots to
still do.
Yeah.
What kind of epoxy grout are you using? Which brand?
Oh, Latacrete.
Everyone's talking Latacrete now, eh?
Yeah, they got a good product.
Is it really good, huh? I used to, back in the day, I was using Mapei's epoxy, and it was hard to work with, but it was bulletproof, man.
It's so for the pools, Latacrete is like they got, I think, a 25-year warranty. Yeah, wow. They stand by their product, man.
And that warranty covers what? Discoloration or
everything?
Really,
like,
huh?
Yeah. Like if you read the specs, it's a 25-year warranty on their product. Even their mortar.
Same thing.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody else is doing that.
No. I don't think Mapei has a 25-year warranty on their product.
They don't.
And their product is good for like it's meant for like water submersion.
Yeah. I want to see those pools, man. Those would be.
I'll send
cool.
you.
I'm curious about it, man.
Yeah, they're nice.
Let me do a little OBC talk here. Ceramic tile and subfloor thicknesses. It's funny how the OBC always tells us a certain thickness, but majority of homes are not doing a substrate that thickness, right? So ceramic tile must be set in a mortar bed or applied to a sound, smooth base. Panel type subfloor to which ceramic tile is to be applied must have its edges supported with T&G panel edges, or at least 38 mil by 38 mil, 1.5 by 1.5 blocking secure nail between framing members. Subfloor thicknesses depend on the distance between supports and the subfloor material. Plywood O2 grade OSB must be at least 16 on center. And also it should be at least 15.5 millimeters thick. And it can go up to 20 inch on center, and also 18.5, which is basically 3/4. O1 grade OSB is R1 grade wafer board, must be at least 15.9 millimeters thick, which is 5/8 for distances of 20 inch or less. 3/4 thick can be 24 on center. You believe that shit? That's OBC, right? Lumber bit must be at least 11/16 thick for distances of 16 inch or less, and 19 mil, which is 3/4 for 24. Again, on 24 I'm still surprised that you can install tile on 24-inch center joists.
Yeah,
I don't get it. Plus, also a lot of Quebec. We got a lot of people in Quebec listening. They install tile right onto the subfloor, right onto substrate.
Really?
I don't get it.
You know what though? Actually, it's some guys are doing it here too, eh?
But what?
What
moves? What
my
breeds?
My first home that I purchased 7 years ago. As soon as I got the key, I already knew what I wanted to do with the house. I got a bin and I ripped out the whole main floor, carpet, everything. And the tiles were installed on the plywood. No mesh.
Nothing. No base.
Nothing.
Did they pop off nicely?
Fucking, it was a nightmare, man.
Was it stuck to the ply?
Yeah. It was a nightmare.
How? I guess it's maybe modified.
Like they had a double. They had it was like double. It was a second sheet on top.
Yeah. So they had the substrate.
I had to crank that top piece of plywood.
What was that? That was that thin 1/4-inch poplar kind of material, right? Like a 5x5 sheet or something. It was like 4x4 sheet.
It was a front entrance. Yeah, it was like 4. Yeah,
I know. And it was just stapled down, right?
Stapled down. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had 1/4-inch crown staples going through the whole thing.
I had to take it off. I had to take the tile off with the plywood.
And the tile was stuck to that.
Yeah.
See, technically OBC, I guess it's fine if you add that layer to the substrate of plywood, whether it's 5/8 or 3/4.
But you have to add.
And you have to staple the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And then it's a pain in the ass to remove, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
But I think it still fails over time. You're still going to get grout joints cracking. You're going to get tile possibly cracking
I think so.
because there's no movement. You're making it so rigid.
Yeah, stiff. Like
Yes. House breeds, tiles don't crack.
Yeah.
You can see it. You see it in homes all the time. There's a reason why.
I know. Yeah.
I've seen evidence of water coming in underneath the threshold of a sliding door, and it's getting to the substrate, and all of a sudden it starts to pop tiles off. So now you got moisture right underneath the tile.
Of course. Yeah. Or where there's right where the beam is running throughout the house.
Yes.
That's like the first place where you're gonna get any sort of movement.
It's always nice when clients, you tell them, like, there's a beam underneath here. And like, how'd you know that?
I don't know. It's lifted half an inch.
Could be, yeah. Big crack and a hump right here.
Yeah.
There's a beam here. Yes, of course it is.
Yeah.
But that was back in the day. So you ripped everything out and then you just installed dry pack the whole thing?
Well, I didn't have room for dry pack in that house, so I had to do scratch coat.
Okay.
But I had to rip out the tile with the plywood, man. It was stuck, but the house was brand new. We didn't even move in. So if I would have left it, maybe by the following year, who knows? After going over all the seasons, would it have cracked? I don't know. Possibly.
I think over 5 or so years, maybe up to 10 years, it eventually would have failed. I totally think it would have failed.
Yeah.
Ceramic tile is not that tough of a tile to begin with.
No.
And if it's and they install them fast. Like they'll trowel it,
Yeah.
get the consistency, and then drop.
especially if you
There's
get
no
a-
clips.
Especially if you get a guy that's installing it with clips.
Yeah.
By the time you walk into the first time, it's
Yeah.
it's a mess. I'm glad it's starting to. I feel like at least it's starting to change. But the problem now is you can't find any guys.
Everyone left. And there aren't it's the one trade that there's no school for.
No.
You either have to learn from somebody, shadow somebody, but nobody also, I mean, I know plenty of tile setters in their 20s
Yeah.
that are like, it's a revolving door of guys trying to get into the industry, get out of the industry. Then there's also the big concern about you're going to teach them all the tricks. Then they're going to get on and set up their own shop.
So we had like when I was in my mid-20s, my dad obviously was still around. We one of my guys now, he's still with us, and we taught him. Like, he lied in the beginning, saying
To get the job?
Well, yeah, I got 5 years experience. Okay, beautiful.
Well, how was he busted?
Oh, the first day I got him to start, and he goes, Sebino, before you leave, is it okay if I do it like this? I go, but you have 5 years experience. I go, you don't have no experience, eh? He's like, come on, man. He's Jamaican. He's come on, man.
Did he step up? Did he step up?
Yeah, he's still with me
Oh, that's awesome. Man.
after all these years. Yeah,
A little bullshit to get into the doors, okay?
but you could see that he wanted to do it.
Yes.
That's the difference.
Yes.
He wanted to be there, right? So he's still with me. And but other guys, they stuck around for a year and a half. They learned.
Set up their own business? Took all your tricks or your tray, all the shit, and they just set up your own business.
Yeah.
But why? Why do that? Why not leave on good terms? Why not have a conversation? Listen, I'm ready to go on my own, I think.
No. It's not like we left on bad terms.
Okay.
It's just, and I'm not the type to say, no, you're not allowed to, you can't do that.
Yeah.
If someone wants to try to do something better, I guess, then go. It's not easy to run a business, like, between pricing, estimating this, like dealing with the customers. And so I'm putting food on your table.
Yeah.
Right. And then after a year you leave, it is what it is. But I lost 4 or 5 guys like that.
So how do you deal with it when you get clients calling you and you come in, you're scoping it out professionally, you give them a quote, and then they compare it to a Kijiji or a marketplace quote?
I have to explain to them, like, you have to break everything down for them, because they're not, it's not their fault, but they don't know better. So you have to explain step by step, like pricing a bathroom. You can't, if I'm pricing a bathroom at $3,000, $4,000, let's say that's the total, they're like, oh my God, but it's only 100 square feet. But I can't do that 100 square feet in one day.
Yeah.
There's prepping involved. Then you got to do the shower floor and go back and do the walls and come back and grout. It's a week process.
Yeah.
You could probably get it done in 4 days, but it's a week.
But that's what the Kijiji guys are doing. They're using rapid set. They're grouting by the afternoon. Aren't they not? They're telling the guys, move the bus and it's done.
But but then they'll call guys like me to go and fix it a year later.
Then it costs more money.
I had just one client. A guy took 10 months to do their main floor. 10 months. One day would show up, 1 week he'd disappear, 1 week show up, this, that.
Where do they find him?
I don't know. It was a friend, I guess. A friend said he could do it. But, you feel bad, right? Like, putting trust in somebody, and then
You liked it? Did you take it on?
yeah, I just posted it on Instagram. Like last week, I finished it.
And you just finished it up.
I told the owner, I went to school with the daughter, and they found me because I went back on social media, right? And then when I told them, 7 to 10 days, it'll be done, demo and everything. No, it's impossible.
You demolished everything that he did?
Yeah, it was a mess.
How did he leave it? What kind of tile you installing?
It was the plank flooring, like
the
the
plank
porcelain,
one.
that looks like
yeah,
wood.
Yeah.
It was a disaster.
What did he do up for the base?
He used the membrane,
Okay.
but you're supposed to flatten the membrane.
He didn't roll it?
Nothing.
So there's bubbles everywhere?
Bubbles everywhere.
What a waste.
At some point, some spots, I saw like screws in the membrane.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not joking. It was bad. I saw screws like that didn't even go right through. They wouldn't catch, right? Like the head was sticking up. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, what the fuck's going on? And it was because he probably saw a high spot in the membrane, and he tried screwing the membrane down. Wow. Yeah,
I've never seen that, man.
It was bad. It was bad. Joints all off, but yeah, I went in 10 days.
Done.
Finished.
Everybody's asking for heated floors now, man.
Yeah, it's a thing, right? It's
slows you guys down because we have to get the electrician involved.
Yeah.
Inspection.
It's got to get passed
all that
before and after,
yeah.
right?
Technically speaking, you're not supposed to touch it.
Well, I'll lay it out.
Yeah.
I'll lay it out and wait for the electrician to test it and say it's okay to go, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it could delay, right? And ESA's got to come
and they got to come and show up and do the inspection, sign off, and that's it. Move on.
Yeah.
I know. It's just I don't know. I think that it'd be better if they worked with us instead of worked against us on that, right? Because they just
it's something that it's new, innovative, but I think there's like what you said, there's should be a better way of approaching something that's coming new to the market.
Even if
we were allowed to install it in the beginning.
Yes.
We were allowed to.
You mean make the final connections and everything?
Yeah.
Yes, totally you were.
Yeah, we were.
I know. Yeah.
And they changed it.
They changed it because there was a death.
There was a death.
It was improperly installed.
Yes.
And there was a death, sure, which is tragic and shouldn't. But I think that there should be...
There should be a course.
There should be
some
certification or something where a tile installer can come in and get certified for that, and then the ESA can sign off on that.
The way
then you don't have to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
the way we got to go and spend $400 on a course to work on heights.
Yes.
When 90% of my work is on the floor.
It's true. Huh?
It's crazy.
It's true. The only time you're doing it is shower ceilings. And that's it.
Yeah. I mean, you use a 2-3 foot 3-step ladder and you're there.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
But the moment you go after 2 steps, I know.
You need your harness. You need your work in that height.
Listen,
it's a good thing. I don't disagree with any of the safety. 100% it should be in place. It should be followed. Because I mean, there has been a lot of accidents.
I mean, the industry's gotten a lot better than what it was.
Yeah.
But you need it. But I think that the ESA should work with tile installers. It's almost like if you go get TTMAC certified for installing tile, that should give you some credibility or something. Or maybe even TTMAC will actually offer a course that is reviewed or accepted by ESA. There's got to be some sort of marriage here, man.
There has to be. If a tile supplier is selling the product, right, then we should be able to kind of be educated on it from them. So at least we're warranted, right?
I get it for sure. I agree. I get frustrated sometimes with some tile reps that already plant the seed to their clients on what it's going to potentially cost to install.
Yeah,
they start because they ask them, right? So and they don't want us to come across as if we don't know everything, so we're going to answer. But then they're not giving you the right number.
No, they're not.
You know, and I love certain reps that will always say, "I've installed this tile. It's really easy to install." I was like, "Hang on a second. You installed it?" No. I know a guy who installed it. I go, well, then you didn't install it. So don't tell people that you installed it. There's a difference between someone actually physically installing and you saying that you installed it.
Of course. Yeah.
Right. But I think reps should just stay on that side of the fence. You know, if you want to get on our side of the fence, start installing.
Yeah, exactly.
Start understanding these products. But they're not going to do that.
No.
And installing a sample board
is not.
No.
No.
That's not installing tile. That's installing a sample board.
We could become a rep.
Yeah, of course.
We could.
Yeah, you can go the other way.
We could go the other way.
Totally, you can.
100%.
Yes.
And they probably would hire us in a split second.
Yes.
Right?
No, they wouldn't.
I think they would. No, I think they would.
They want prettier people walking around. You want high heels. I've got a funny little joke to share about that one. I was at SIAT one time, and for a particular reason, it was very quiet.
Okay.
And all I heard were boots, heels. Yeah, just all through the floor, right? I'm talking to clients and I'm talking to the sales rep, and in the back of my hearing, all I'm hearing is heels, right? Over and over and over. Like, it's just, I look around and I'm like, okay, sales rep, heels, sales rep, heels, heels everywhere, right? And then all of a sudden you start noticing, wait, they're not just heels, they're all like boots. So it's like knee-high boots and all these latest boots and all kinds of boots, right? So we're talking about tile, and I just had to interrupt everybody, and I just finally just said, listen, you figure with all these riding boots here, the parking lot would be full of horses. And she just said, why are you saying that? I was going, all I'm hearing is riding boots. That's all I'm hearing.
Crazy.
Well, I don't understand this, man. Like, that there's a little disconnect between the sales reps and the tile installers, and
there is,
right, and then you're kind of sent to the back there, or you're sent to a different section because you're the tile installer, and I'm like, but we have more experience than you guys when it comes to these products. I know. Man.
I don't think we're respected enough in the industry.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I totally agree with you. Right, because I mean, we walk in there with work pants, and you got thin set that's already caked on it, and whatever, right?
Yeah,
but
I'm a tile setter. Oh, okay. Like I feel like sometimes they give you that shoulder sort of thing. I'm
going to take the product that you saw a sample of and turn it into magic in your home that you're going to live in for a while. There's a little bit of value in that statement, man.
I know.
I get that argument. Like but I'm also the one that walks in there with the work pants and start picking at the crusties of thin set and leaving a little mess there.
Yeah, of course. Let them.
And I'm like, okay, yeah. So what are you talking about? I left some of my knowledge on the floor there. Leave me alone.
There you go. That was a hard day's work.
I like shit disturbing shit. That's all I like doing, man. So what are you going to do now? You're going to start, where are you going to find your guys? Where are you going to start training them, or what? You got to think about all these variables now.
Yeah, I'm working on something right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm putting I more or less have a team in place right now that we're just putting things together for the new year.
Nice.
And I'm going to solve the issue of the shortage.
Really?
Yeah.
And you'll tell me about this later on.
I want to be back here.
Yeah.
I'll come back here with a couple of the guys.
Nice.
And once everything's up and running, well, not even up and running, when it's ready to be launched.
I think you're totally right, Sebino, that you guys have a serious deficiency.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
I mean, good tradespeople.
Like, it's good for us that are in it, right? Because it keeps us busy. But there's a lot of work out there. There's a shitload of work out there.
Are you getting your price?
Yeah.
You're not having to negotiate down, or no?
Not really. No. But I know what the market's at, right? Like, I know I'm not going to gouge somebody.
Yeah.
I'm not like that, right? if I'm giving you a price, I want you to call me next year for that extra bathroom that you're gonna, that you're gonna do.
What was it? Was your dad's square footage price back in the day and your square footage price today, or are you a scope of work today?
So the square footage price, no, I mean, we're getting more per square foot today.
Yeah. But I mean, are tile setters today charging per square foot or per scope?
So for most jobs, yes, it's square foot. When it comes to bathroom work, it's, at least for me, I try to do a flat rate.
Yeah.
Right. I try to, what each day is going to cost me and how long I'm going to be there for, what I want to come out with, what material they want me to use and stuff like that. Right. But like if I'm doing like a hotel lobby, it's square foot. If I'm doing a pool, it's square foot.
Because it's just volume. It's
Volume.
literally square footage.
Yeah, it's volume. It's always been like that though.
Yeah.
Like even homes, I'm charging by the square foot.
Really?
Like main floors. Yeah.
But
I won't go
bathrooms
in.
are different though.
Yeah, bathrooms are like to do a bathroom of even 200 square feet with the shower jams, the prepping and this and that. I could do a main floor of 1,000 feet in 3 days, 4 days.
Do you remember what your dad was charging per square foot back in the day?
So we were with the guy we worked with. We were doing a lot of limestone. We were out in Richmond Hill for like 8-9 years straight. We did a lot of work in Richmond Hill.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was all like it was like independent builders that would do like 20, 30 houses a year. 10, 15, depends. But it was all limestone, and I think back then we were getting like, I think my dad was getting like $375 a square foot, $350, but it was easier.
Yeah.
You're knocking out 700 square feet in like 2 days.
It was fast.
Scratch coat done.
Yeah.
Dry pack done. Go in, install. Another guy by the hour working upstairs doing the washrooms. They used my dad was just strictly main floors because he was fast and good. He was a machine.
What's the price today?
For like a porcelain?
Yeah. I don't know. 2
I've been
foot by 2
charging.
foot?
Yeah, I've been charging around. I've been charging like $10, $12 a square foot.
Yeah, that's pretty decent.
Yeah, it's fair.
But then mosaics, you get into different ballparks.
Yeah.
Backsplashes, different ballparks. Large slabs, different.
Yeah,
It's
like
different.
backsplashes are flat rate usually.
I know, but guys, I hear certain clients are finding guys on certain websites for like $1.50 a square now today.
Really?
Oh yeah, and I'm like, no, you're not even anywhere near what it should be costing.
No.
That's scary, man.
That's not. That's impossible. Like the material doesn't even cover the
It's
material.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's what needs to be fixed.
There should be a standard.
That's what needs to be fixed. I think in the States you need to be certified.
Yeah. That's
Right?
what I was saying. Yeah, TTMAC's already doing that. They're doing it slowly, but they're having their CITT certification or something like that. It's equivalent to the American.
So for every trade?
No, just for tiling.
Really?
Yeah, just for tiling. So they're offering it. You can go and they set it up. I think they're setting up 2 or 3 per month. I was just at one, not last week, the week before that.
Really?
They set it up. It's a 6 hours, 6-hour test.
But for an already existing tile setter.
Yes.
Okay. Not someone new coming.
No, it could be anybody. It could be brand new if you think you've got the confidence and the skills to do it, or
Okay.
it can be an established.
All right.
Could be an old school. I was there, and there was 6 individuals that were tiling away. One guy finished really quickly, 4 hours. He was out of Ottawa, came in and did it. 2 other guys there, horrible job.
Really?
Absolutely horrible.
And what
job.
it's a practical test?
It's a practical test. You're only allowed certain tools. You can't bring in a wet saw. You can bring snaps. You can bring a grinder. You're also judged on safety, goggles, respirator. You're not necessarily hard hat.
Mm-hmm.
You're judged on finals, slope, curb, niches, edging. If you want to miter, you can miter. It's up to you.
And this is a 6-hour course.
It's a 6-hour test.
Oh, a test.
You have 6 hours to complete this. It can be done in 6 hours.
And you're certified after that.
You're certified. You get a certification number, and you can actually use it as a marketing detail for your business. Everything.
And what about someone like me that's 20 years in the business?
Anybody can go in there.
No, I'm saying like
Grandfathered in.
yeah.
Now you got to do the test still.
Really? Interesting.
When I was there, I joked about Carlito and I doing the test, competing against each other.
No way.
I don't know how that would go.
Do it.
I'm just curious how it would go. I'm curious about it.
I'm debating if I should go.
I don't even think I can do it in 6 hours. So it's 3 foot by 3 foot, 2 sides with a 3 foot curb.
Okay.
Just one side curb, one niche.
Okay.
No floor, no tray, no nothing like that, right? And you decide on the tile pattern, and you decide on your edging pattern. You decide how you want to do the curb. You decide everything, but everything is scored. Everything is scored from the time you start to the time you finish, even the way you mix.
Really?
Everything is scored. So if you just throw the bag in there and then a plume of dust comes out,
come on.
Yes. Because
No way.
you're creating a hazardous
You're creating
environment.
a hazard. Yeah.
Right? So you can't do that. And then if you're grinding no goggles, there's demerit points against you.
Interesting.
So if you get so many demerit points against you, you fail.
Wow. I'd feel for sure. No goggles.
That's what I'm saying.
No
It's like,
goggles.
it'd be interesting.
No.
No, you got to. That's what you got to put all that shit on.
I know.
Right?
I know.
I was asking for a wet saw. I'm like, I want a wet saw, and they're like, no, you can't bring a wet saw in.
I haven't used my wet saw in like.
I like wet saws.
I don't like using it on porcelain.
Okay.
Because it wets the porcelain. Then you got to dry the porcelain. It's just time consuming.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It'd be interesting if I were to do it, right? It'd probably take me right to 5 hours and 59 minutes.
So you're basically tiling a shower.
You're tiling the bottom half portion of a shower.
Just the bottom half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it only goes 3 feet high.
Oh, okay.
The Ottawa guy, he was very cool, and he actually did a really good job. I was very impressed. He was quick, and he didn't take the easy route for the niche.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when I say easy route, the other two jokers that were just bad, they lined up one side of the niche with the actual grout line.
Oh, okay.
They did that.
Yeah.
Everybody else put the niche in the
split
middle,
it
and then they balanced the tile grout lines, which is the way you should do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, he actually went 4 feet tall on
Really?
both sides, right? And it doesn't matter. You can go 4 feet if you want. You're not going to get dinged on that.
Yeah.
It's really about how you finished it, right? It's just spacing. So the spacing has to be consistent. Slope on the curb has to be sloped inward.
Inwards,
yeah. And then the niche has to be set up. It's actually a good test. But I mean, when I was there, they were walking around grading everybody at every single stage of the process. And
That's
they were watching how people were cutting, mixing mortar, troweling the mortar on if the mortar was too thick.
Yeah.
There was one, it was like, that shit is dry, man. Like you need to add some more water into that shit, right? But he still put the tile on that way. Then they also, as soon as you finish the test, you disappear. And then they take the tiles off to see the coverage.
Really?
To confirm that you've got the bare minimum coverage.
Well, that's good though. Like it's
a proper test.
It's a proper test. They know what they're looking for, and you know what? Listen, I don't blame them for doing this test.
We need it.
I honestly think like the problem with this though is, I'll tell you what the problem is. We're already short men.
Yeah.
Okay, so there hasn't been enough young people coming into the trade as those ones leaving. Okay, there hasn't.
Yeah,
it's not being replenished. Like it's bad.
I know,
and not just tile. Like it's every trade,
every harder trade.
Yes,
right.
I think if you're getting into plumbing or electrical or HVAC, I think there's a lot.
Yeah.
It's more carpentry and stone,
concrete, tile,
bricklayers,
roofers, framers. There's a shortage as well. Yeah.
So now you implement let's call it a license. Is that going to affect it even more?
I think it's going to weed out the jokers.
That 100%. But where I have the answer. I know I'm going to be doing it. But I think if they were to bring in some sort of license like the States, I think it'll be worse.
I think it's just going
to take time.
It's going to take time to weed out the bad, and hopefully the good will just want to step up their game, right?
Well,
it's not why you're in this industry. You're in this.
I want to separate. I'm already separated from
what I mean.
Those guys. Like I don't need to prove my.
And you don't want to price against those guys either. You want to educate the client too.
Yeah. I'm telling you what I'm giving them. Advice too. I'm training them as I give them the quote.
Green Book talk. Sebino, ready for this? You love the Green Book, eh?
What's that? Let me see that.
Ontario Occupational Health. Yeah, we all know this book.
Okay.
Right to refuse work. A worker may refuse to work or do particular work if they have reason to believe that anything the worker is to use is likely to endanger themselves or another worker, or the physical condition of the workplace or possible workplace violence is likely to endanger themselves. If the worker is a member of the police force, a firefighter, in operation of a correctional facility, a place of secure custody, a place of temporary detention, in operation of a hospital, long-term care, psychiatric. Wow, you're going to refuse work from all these places. Such a worker may not refuse to work or do particular work in the above conditions if those conditions are inherent to the worker's work or are normal conditions, or if the worker's refusal to work would directly endanger the life, health, or the safety of another person. A lot of kids don't realize that they can refuse work, right? But they just get on the site and they just think, I want to be a go-getter and just listen to the guy and he's just going to tell me to do this. But if it's unsafe, man, don't do it.
Oh, I've left jobs before.
You can't be that way. You cannot be that way. We're getting close. Sorry?
I've left sites before because.
What did you see?
Just shit in the way, like where, something's bound to fall on you.
Oh.
I'm like, no, I can't. I have myself and guys here. I'm like, no, get this stuff out of the way and then we'll come back.
Does the GC do that, or the site?
Of course, they have to, because if I report something or if someone were to report something.
But guys are afraid to report because then they'll get blacklisted.
Fuck
right?
that. I'm reporting. My health is more important.
Of course it is. I agree with you. Yeah.
Spraying chemicals. I did a pool once, like I said, and we had to leave for like a day.
What were they doing?
Yeah, they were spraying something. I don't know what it was. The painters were spraying some sort of shit in the air. I don't know. It stunk.
Were they wearing respirators when they sprayed?
The painters were.
But not everybody else.
They didn't give a fuck about anyone else down there. They just...
I know, but that's the shit thing about your trade. You're asked to come in when everything's all being finished, and then they make some changes and things have to get done. Then they bring in the painter. Everyone's stepping on each other, and
it's construction. Every day is different, right? But there's got to be... I'm not going to stay there and work.
No, if it's not healthy.
No.
The older I get and the more time I spend on a job site, I could actually start to taste the paint. Like if you start going airborne anything, I start tasting it, man. Yeah. Which means that it's in me. It's coming in, and I don't care about that, right?
There's actually a product. I don't know how we're doing with time, but there's a product. It actually, like, I'll use it if I know I have to do a lot of my mixing always inside. Like if there's a door that's not accessible, it's dustless.
What's for the mix?
Yeah.
Well, you put it into the mix?
It's dustless. No, it's actually it's honestly it's like 90%. It's a lot less. There's a little bit of dust that comes up, but not like all these other products.
Now that you bring that up, that same science guy,
I'm telling you,
he was also introducing a dustless form, but that was 10 years ago. And man, it was not dustless. I said that's strike two.
This one is not bad.
Really? Who makes it?
It's oh my God, not Chem Bond.
But is the mortar good?
It's good. It's very fluffy. Like it's very, it doesn't get hard quick. It's a good. I've used it on main floors before,
and it's dramatically less dust than when you're mixing it. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't get that.
The little plume or whatever.
Yeah, you don't get that. And you can plop half a bag in there at
really?
once. Yeah. It's not bad.
I got to check that out.
Yeah.
Once you find
I'll send you the. I think it's Mercrete. Mercrete.
Where's Mercrete at?
Mercrete. They're American. They have to be American.
I got to check
Mercrete.
that out.
Merkrete. Yeah, there's a bag that says dustless.
And it has no dust?
It's very, very little. Like I've used it before.
And the mix is good for tiling.
Oh, it's meant for tiling. Yeah.
So how do they? Where's the secret recipe in that?
I have no idea.
I'd be curious about that.
I have no idea.
So why doesn't Mapei or any of the other companies custom anybody else?
Who knows? Maybe they patented it.
It has to be.
Maybe.
Anything else we want to talk about there before I get into the 12 questions? We covered a lot.
Yeah, we did.
Let me just share it again. Tile Install Plus Inc. Tile Install Plus at yahoo.com. Tile.install.plus. Ready for the 12 questions, man?
Okay, let's try it.
Shoot. What is your favorite construction word?
Hurry up.
What is your least favorite construction word?
Hold back. That's what we didn't talk about. Holdbacks, but
There's always holdbacks in construction.
always.
I'm of the mind of Heavy Duty Homes and Phil, where he doesn't have that final payment.
I watched that actually. I watched his.
It's kind of smart.
Yeah.
It's like, kiss my ass.
Yeah,
Here's the remaining. I know he's the builder, right?
He's dealing.
But if he's
mean,
getting the
I don't know
full
his business.
20%, the remaining amount, that's included in, that's your rate as well too, to pay you, right?
Yeah. So like when I'm dealing with a homeowner, I have a structure, right? Like let's say 30, 50 and balance at the end, right? Yeah. But when you're dealing with like commercial jobs, and
No, there's no such thing. It's 90 days, 120.
So if he were to go and do a job, I don't know if that structure will work. I don't know.
Not on commercial. And you guys make up,
And that's where I've gotten screwed with my holdback.
commercial?
Yeah. Oh yeah. With a homeowner, never.
Really, yeah?
Never. I've never been.
I've heard both sides.
I've never.
Because you do the commercial, they rush you, you take care of the job, then you got to submit an invoice, takes 90 days, 120. Then they come back at you and go, there's deficiency here, deficiency here,
there's
deficiency
this,
here.
there's that.
And the truth is that the money still has been deposited and it's there, but the builder itself is keeping that money from you. That's where I don't like.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, if you get it. It's happened to me a few times.
I know, but the corporation that hired the builder to do the job, they actually...
Oh, they have the funds.
They have the funds.
Yeah, of course they do.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't want to release it to the worker.
What turns you on in construction, Sebino?
What turns me on in construction? I guess the end result of the job.
What turns you off in construction?
I think what turns me off. You know what? I don't even have like. I think it's like the certain people to deal with. Oh, let's like
tradespeople or clients.
I think certain clients are very, very picky. The demand is unrealistic sometimes.
What's your favorite curse word?
Fanculo.
What's your favorite vehicle in the entire world?
I like the Camaro 77.
77.
Yeah.
77. Oh, 77. Okay,
with the
that's
stripes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, that's my.
Yeah.
I'd like to restore that car one day.
You have one? Have you found one?
No, they're hard to find.
And if you do find it, it's going to be a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Everyone knows how the value of these vehicles now.
Yeah.
Least favorite vehicle in the world?
Smart car.
What construction sound or noise do you love?
Compressor, water saw. I like the water saw.
Water saw's getting loud to me these days.
I like it because you're working on something expensive.
It's true. What construction sound or noise do you hate?
Hate? I don't know. Never.
Like at all?
I don't know. I like the sound of construction in general. Yeah.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt one day?
I would attempt being a cook.
What profession would you not like to do?
Doctor, police officer.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
Good job.
That's it, man. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure. You reached out when we got chatting, and I'll always have a very interesting conversation with tile installers, man.
Yeah, this was fun. I was a little nervous.
Everybody's nervous.
I was a little nervous, especially
sitting down.
Singing. But
singing's nothing, man.
it was no. I had fun. It was good.
Thanks, man. It opens up. Everyone, check it out. And obviously, he's going to tell me some more information that I won't share, but you'll be back and we'll talk more stuff.
For sure.
All kinds of stuff. So everybody, Sebino at Tile Install Plus Inc. Tile Install Plus at yahoo.com. Tile.install.plus. install.plus. Thank you, man.
Thanks a lot.
Angelina, we are out of here.